Asante sana kwa kutupatia muda kuongea na sisi. Tuambie majina yako, ni nani, hii sehemu inaitwaje na hii kulima mnafanya ni gani?
Haya, nimeshukuru. Hata na mimi naitwa Emily Kereto. Mimi ni mama, niko na familia. Hata na mimi nimefurahia kuwaona. Ni vizuri ukipata wageni ukiwa kwa kazi. Tumefurahi. Hapa kwetu kwa eneo hili inaitwa Engi. Nongo jo kama ya mashini. Sasa hapa tuko na kilimo ya nyanya. Hii kazi imetupendeza sisi sana. Kwa sababu ni kazi tunafanya kila siku, tunapata mapato yetu ya kulisha watoto ama kuwalipia karo. Kwa hivyo ni kazi tumeifurahia sana.
So mnafanya ni kazi ya kibarua ama ni wamama mmeungana kwa kikundi mkaamua kufanya ukulima wa nyanya?
Tunafanya kama kibarua, but tunafanya tukiwa group. Tunaweza shikana kwa sababu gari inakujanga na makreti mingi, tunashikana kama watu 10, watu 6. Sasa tunafanya kama group, but ni kibarua.
So hiyo kibarua mnaona imewanufaisha aje kama wamama wa Masai, vile umesema ni kwa kijiji ndani? Sasa hii kibarua imewanufaisha aje kama wamama wa hapa hii eneo?
Hii kibarua imetufanyia vizuri kwa sababu ni kibarua tunafanya tukiwa kwa maboma ama tukiwa nyumbani. Kwa hivyo ni kibarua imetuinua tuseme kifamilia, mambo na machakula, mambo na karo ya shule. Kwa hivyo ni kibarua imetufanyia mambo mengi sana. Na bado ni mzuri kwa sababu tunafanya tukirudi nyumbani. Kwa hivyo unaamkia asubuhi na kuja ukifanya unarudi.
Tukiingilia maneno ya ukulima, unaweza sema kwa hii kazi ambayo unafanya kuna elimu ambayo umepata jinsi ya kukuza na kupanda nyanya?
Hata mimi ndaweza sema hivyo. By the way, watu sasa wakulima wakienda, hata sisi tuko na kitu tumepata. Kwa sababu sasa hizi venye tumeanza kufanya hii kazi, tumejua nyanya inaweza chukua baada ya miezi 3 tunaanza kufuna. Na ni kazi tumeielewa, tuseme tu tumeielewa juu ni kazi inaanziwa hapa kwetu na inamaliziwa hapa kwetu.
Kama sasa hii tunaona mnavuna nyanya, tueleze kidogo vile mmechunga hii nyanya hadi sasa hii mnavuna. Process yake mlipanda lini? Utajuaje nyanya iko tayari kuvuna?
Mimi siwezi jua sana mambo vile ilianza, but ninajua tu ya kwamba inachukua almost 3 months, after 3 months tunaanza kufuna. Lakini bado ninajua ni kazi inaanzanga kwa nasari, inaingia inachukua muda, tena inaanza kupaliliwa, inaingia mahali nyingine inaanza kuzaa nyanya. Sasa ndio tupate mahali imefika tuanze kuchuma.
Kama sasa hii tukiangalia kwa hii shamba kuna nyanya zingine ni ndogo, zingine ziko red, zingine ziko karibu kuiva. Tuonyeshe ni gani zenye mnachuna zenye ni za soko.
Saa hii za soko ni hizi. Mimi najua ni kama hizi. Sasa hizi ndizo za soko saa hii.
Kuna zingine zenye pia ziko karibu kuiva. Ni nini mnaangalia wakati mnavuna? Kuna zingine tunaona ziko
tunazo hizi tunasema ziko red na bado tuko na blue band. Sijui kama nitaweza toa.
Tuonyeshe tu.
Kuna blue band kama size hivi. Sasa unaona kuna tofauti. Hii ni blue band na hii ni red.
Na mnafanyanga sorting mkikuwa hapa kwa shamba? Kuna zile zimekuliwa na wadudu, kuna zingine mnajua je ni gani ni mzuri ya soko?
Saa hizi tunajua kama tuseme hizi mbili ni za soko. Hii saa hii kama hii haiwezi fika kwa soko, ni kama hii. Juu hizi already na saa hii haiwezi fika sokoni.
Kwa nini?
Kwa sababu hii nikijaribu kuangalia ingawaje hata mimi sio mtaalamu wa hii kazi sana, ni kama imechomeka kwa jua kabla haijakomaa.
So ni ujumbe gani ungeambia wanawake wengine ambao pengine wamekaa nyumbani wanaongoja mzee alete pesa ya maziwa? Ujumbe gani ungeambia wanawake wengine wamekaa nyumbani?
Mimi ningependa tu kuambia hata wao at least watoke tu wajifanyie tu vibarua. Juu hata sisi hii sasa tumekuja kupata, tulianza na mambo ya maziwa. Tulikuwa tunauza maziwa, Mungu tena akaja akatubariki tukapata hii ya nyanya. Kwa hivyo mimi ningependa tu kuwaeleza kwamba usikubali kukaa nyumbani. Hata kama ni kale kasukuma yako unapeleka sokoni unaenda kulima, usikubali kukaa nyumbani. Kwa sababu sasa sio wakati wa kuletewa chumvi na mzee kununuliwa mafuta ya kujipaka, ni wewe mwenyewe kujifanyia.
Kwa hii kibarua mnapata kama hela ngapi na ni nini inakupatia hiyo motisha ya kuja kazi kila siku? Yani unangangana
ile kitu inanipatia motisha ya kuja kwa kazi ni bidii yangu. kwa sababu kupata hela inategemea na bidii yako, sababu kuna wale wako active na kuna wengine wanaenda polepole. Sasa ni venye unatoa, sasa active yako ndio itakupatia mshahara yako.
Nashukuru sana kwa muda wako.
Hata nani nishukuru. Karibuni tena.
Spinach is a dark leafy vegetable that originated in Persia. Spinach is a superfood as it is loaded with tons of nutrients in a low-calorie package. Spinach has been used by various cultures throughout the history. Spinach is a versatile vegetable and can be eaten raw or cooked. It can be incorporated quite easily in any diet as it is cheap and easy to prepare.
And a very good evening to you. And how is your Monday? Monday morning.
Hey, you're still stuck. You're still stuck in the
Weekend
Monday
blues,
morning.
weekend blues. How are you?
I'm doing good. Happy to join you again. I feel like it's been a while
Yes.
since I came to
And
this
I
studio.
was actually feeling like hugging you. It's been long.
Oh, it's been long. It feels like ages.
Since when? When was the last time we were in the studio?
Last week, but one.
Why?
Imagine.
Hey, karibuni sana to the evening farm drive, the farm girls edition, and today we just want to talk about stories to do with empowering Africa's women farmers. There's one thing about encouraging and empowering. What's the difference?
I think encouraging is whereby my own understanding you give someone advice without solution. But when it comes to empowering, it's where you encourage and you give solutions. Yeah.
So is there a need of empowering women farmers? Because most of the time we've had so many shows trying to talk to young people, and we've done shows to do with how can agriculture be made attractive to the youth. And when you talk about empowering Africa's women in farming, what are some of these ways of empowerment?
I think it's first things first, women are supposed to be given the priority of even acquiring education. Because if as a woman you cannot get into what you don't know knowledge-wise, so we should have platforms where women are taught about agriculture, women are taught about agribusiness. Yeah.
And I also think, like me, I'm a mother of girls, and by empowering, I'm thinking of a scenario where you even can make a kitchen garden, and you let them run it, like do everything from planting, watering. You know, like when they grow up, seeing that crop growing, it really motivates, and it gives them that idea of they own it, like it's their own, you know. So that's the discussion we want to have today on various ways and avenues that women can be empowered to venture into farming. But before we delve deeper into today's discussion, today is World Diabetes Day.
Yeah, I heard about it in the morning. I had no idea. So I had no idea, but you just realize how majority of us, how clueless we are. Because diabetes, for me, for the longest time, I used to think it's a disease that comes with age. You know, as you're aging, you hear, I met people who are like, I don't take sugar. And I'm just like, how old are you again? You know, how old are you again? Because you can imagine, Jackie, I can't take tea without sugar.
You'll get there.
You see now you're saying you'll get there, because it's always an age factor.
It's not age.
Where we feel like once you start hitting your 40s, your 50s, you become so conscious about your health.
It's not age. This diseases sometimes you'll just be shocked. Like me, sometimes I used to take a lot of sugar. Like there's nothing I would take. If it is tea, if it is porridge, if it is juice, I used to put a lot of sugar. But then it got to a point my pressure got high. Because I was consuming a lot of sugar, a lot of salt, a lot of fat. So sometimes the kinds of food we consume, they bring us these kinds of effects. Like diabetes, it's not like some people believe it's hereditary. Probably family members have it. But mostly, if you check and look deeper, diabetes is sometimes brought by the kinds of food we eat.
Yeah, like your lifestyle, what you there's a quote that says, let food be thy medicine. So I don't know how, because Jackie, you realize these practices, if we talk about health and how we are supposed to live and our lifestyle, do you think some of these practices should be introduced to us when we are young?
Yes.
Because I can imagine if my child grows up seeing me like taking, like, you know, the way you go somewhere and they'll ask you how many spoons, and then it comes with a bit of shame saying like 4 spoons. You know, everyone around you is like, what? You're taking a lot of sugar, and for you the 4 spoons it's comfortable for you. So I think when it comes to what we eat and what we consume on our daily basis, which we should start by teaching our young ones that you can take tea without sugar.
But then it also comes with the understanding. Once you know where you're coming from with that sugar. You know, sometimes you may tell the kid that's a lot of sugar, but you're not telling the kid the effects of taking this too much sugar, because sugary things are a reason why people get bigger. It increases the size of people, apart from the chemicals that are used. Me myself, I've lost family members from diabetes, and you don't want to just to be in that kind of place where you're fighting that disease. And there's also a friend of mine who used to work here. She also had diabetes, and sometimes the sugar levels could be high or low, and she would sometimes just go sit down somewhere and inject herself with insulin, and it's painful. Like you have to, like, all the time, like on a daily, you just have to. It gets to the point where you've trained yourself how to inject the insulin.
I can imagine how that can interfere with your normal routine, with your daily life, just because of, hey God, guys, try to keep it healthy, try to substitute with honey, with, I don't know, I believe there's so many substitutes to sugar, so maybe you should just try.
Sugar is just one of them. There are so many kinds of foods that
bring forth diabetes.
Yes. I think there was a post that it was done on diabetes and the kinds of foods that people need to eat to regulate diabetes. I will be showing the post little as you continue with the show, the 5 best fruits for the diabetics. Like there's pears, there's the strawberry, apricot, peaches, berries, kiwi, and apple. But you know, me some of these fruits, by the I just can't consume. Like the kiwi.
Why?
Kiwi.
No, kiwi is so tasty.
Where? How?
Kiwi, it's, for me, I've eaten it in salads, in fruit mixes, and I realized it was so sweet. It's a fruit that I can consume on a daily.
You can't convince me.
Why? Is it because of the texture? You know, sometimes people don't eat some fruits because of their texture.
To be honest, just by the look of it,
Really?
I cannot
Have you
consume.
tasted it before?
Never.
It's actually so it has the same taste as mango, but mango is a bit too mango is too sweet. It just has a taste that is so unique and so tasty. For me, I was also skeptical, but once I got to try it, I was like, it's something that I can, you know, I don't mind.
Maybe make it in a smoothie without me knowing. I might try to consume. What of the peaches? I've never tasted peaches.
But you know, Jackie, hata si ushamba, because you realize majority of these fruits are quite pricey. Like you go to the supermarket and just one peach, one fruit peach, you're buying it at almost 800 shillings.
800.
That is just one piece, Jackie.
Because hiyo ni matunda gani? Because sisi tunaonanga tu kwa picha.
Peaches, these are very foreign fruits to us. Majority of them are imported. So I think they also look at the value of importing fruits and now bringing them in. That's where maybe it determines the price.
Yeah.
But actually, these are very pricey fruits, so they're limited to the few. To the few. Yeah. So you realize majority of us are not familiar. Like you hear the name and you ask yourself, what is that? Is sasa ni gani?
Is it a mango?
Is it in the family of oranges?
Yeah.
You know.
But then I'm seeing like the berry family is doing a lot with the diabetics.
Yeah, I believe so, because you realize mostly that diabetics is mostly associated with sugar. So for someone who has maybe high blood sugars, maybe you can try and substitute with unasikianga ile unaambiwa usifaint. Unasema usifaint. Yeah, so maybe the healthiest way is just substitution with these fruits. The berries are quite affordable and they're found almost everywhere. Like even as you're walking in town, as you're walking anywhere, you're likely to find them by the roadside. So those ones are I believe a good substitute.
But me, I don't know. In all those fruits you're mentioning there, the only thing I can consume is pears and apples, because berries, I usually find them to be tasteless.
Really?
And when you get the ones you get, either they're too bitter or they're tasteless. So I think the trick is just to mix them. If you can get because there are different types of berries, different types. So there are those which are sweeter, there are those which are sour. So maybe the trick is just mixing them and consuming them as a mixed fruit. Interesting. There's a lot that has been happening during the week, and just as you're waking up. I remember there's a story we did with Frida Okech on fish business.
Yes.
Have you seen the latest happenings on Lake Victoria?
I've seen, and I have so many questions. You know, I've seen it and I'm just like, why? How? You know, the death of fish. How? You know, is there an explanation to it?
Yesterday I watched in the news and they were like it's due to climatic conditions. I don't know it normally happens during this time around November, December, where the water levels, I don't know what happens underground and things happen. But then I was really scared because I was like, Ama, the lake has been poisoned or something. Because even in the news there was a lady who sells fish and she was being she was quoted as saying that they are scared to even buy fish now to sell because people don't know what exactly is killing the fish.
Yeah, and you know it takes us to where we were talking that we were saying that majority of the people don't understand climate change. You know, so when you associate such misfortunes with climate change, how many people will understand? Most people will say the lake has been poisoned, something has been added to the water. So I understand the fear and everything because people are like, is it also poisonous to human beings? Will we have just people dropping? You've eaten fish from Lake Victoria. Will we have people just dropping dead? You know. So I believe it's a very crucial thing to happen at this particular time where we are having food crises, we are having hunger issues. So you realize that is a lot of fish that has been wasted. That is food waste because I believe all the fish are going to be disposed. So it's a very crucial time, a very crucial topic.
But you can imagine what the farmers are going through. Actually, I want to do a show on the dark side of farming. You know, we always talk about farming is good, farming is fun. You can make money from farming, atipesa mfukoni.
And these stories are usually from what to glory, like you started from somewhere, now you're a big millionaire as a farmer.
I made my first million from onion farming.
And it's the same thing we were talking last time when we talked to Frida and she gave us the challenges she's facing and she spoke to it. She was a voice to so many farmers and you realize there's that dark side that is not talked about more. There's that side where farmers struggle, where farmers incur losses, where farmers are at the verge of giving up, but we don't hear such stories. We just hear the stories of I started with one cabbage, right now I'm an exporter of cabbage. So we should have more of such stories. It will also give a clear picture of the people who are trying to get into farming so that you just get to understand it has two sides. There are sides where you'll incur losses for the whole time you've tried farming. And
me, if I, to be honest, if I incur my first loss, let's say I've invested like 100,000, but even there's a story I saw on Facebook of someone talking about the fish, and there was like 2.7 million investment gone down the drain, and then you tell me that I wake up again tomorrow, I start again. And what kind of resilience is that?
I don't know. There's this thing about farmers that they can come out of anything. You know, majority of them have these stories of I planted capsicum and nothing came out. I don't know them. You know, we've had such stories, but they still come up. They're still standing. They're still able to go on. So I think, I don't know, maybe if I tried being a farmer, nitaelewa.
Siwezi. Yes, hata siwezi kudanganya ati I'll understand. Let's say even if it is 10,000, if you've started your poultry farm, and you've brought in the 10-day-old chicks. You know, the way they usually look pretty.
Yeah, and so fragile.
So fragile. You feed them, let's say first month, second month. Now the third month, actually, the magonjwa, sijui, fallpox, sijui,
and then all of them just die.
In the morning. I die with them.
And you've invested, maybe you've already quit your job. You're like, now I want to go into full farming. You know, for me, I would say to play safe, I would still keep my day job and do farming as a side hustle.
And that's what Noah is usually against. It's like, if you want to be a successful farmer, don't practice farming as a side hustle.
And practicing it as a side hustle doesn't mean it will be an option. It just means if I incur losses at some point, I have a soft landing. I still come back to my day job and replace the losses, you know, with the salary that I get at the end of the month.
Are you sure you'll be able to concentrate on your day job when you lose like 100,000 Kenya shillings?
Jackie will try because at least there will be another option. Imagine you've invested all you had into farming and you incur losses. Pressure, pap, you know, it hits you hard. Unlike if you had a day job somewhere and then farming, because at the end of the day, even smallholder farmers, they still work with a team.
Yeah.
You can't do everything on your own. So imagine having a day job and you still manage. You'll not be a telephone farmer, but maybe at the end of every day from work, you go to your farm, you know.
You get time.
You get time.
But there is a conversation I was having with some bike guy some time back, and he was talking, climate change has really shown farmers dust this time around, because here there is fish that is dying, probably due to climate. Nobody knows exactly why they died. Look at Kajiado. There's so many cows. Last week we were in Kajiado County government, and let me tell you, the view on the road is just so disturbing. Like, cows are dead, like just carcasses all over. And you can imagine, someone will even tell you they've lost up to 70 cows. So like, yesterday when I was watching the news, and the farmers, the ones who practice cage fish farming, were explaining how much they've incurred losses. And it just bumped into my mind. What is the importance of insurance? Is it about time that farmers begin, like the way you just insure your car? Is it about time that farmers are probably sensitized on the importance of insuring a cow? But then even as you're being sensitized to insure that cow, to be honest, which insurance company will give you a good deal? Because they'll know, like right now, when there's this kind of drought, it's going, how much can the insurance cost?
I think that is where the conversation starts, because you realize majority of farmers, and me, I'm just thinking, Jackie, when we talk about insurance, maybe it's limited to only large-scale farmers. Because if I'm a smallholder farmer, I have my 100 cows, what will push me into insuring the cows? And I'm living in a semi-arid areas.
Disasters such like this.
And where we are seeing carcasses on the road, are these semi-arid areas. These farmers, for the longest time, they have been able to manage the drought. Maybe this time round it has just been different.
Yeah.
But they have always been managing it. They have always been, like, if you go to, there's a place in Isinya where a lot of animal food is being sold randomly on the road. So there's a way farmers will tell you, we manage. And maybe this time things are just bad, but they have always been managing the situation.
Let me tell you, things are bad, because we were at the county government, and some of the farmers there were saying even the slaughterhouse in Bisil, where they usually take the cows during the market days and they wait for people to come and buy, has been closed down because there are no customers and the animals need to feed.
Yeah.
They need water. So even there, it's just carcasses. So you can be a successful farmer. But let's not discourage the farmers, because tough times call for tough measures, and people need to be encouraged. And I think it's about time. Like, I was asking myself, okay, fine, we've seen the story of the fish in Lake Victoria. Where is the government? How come we've not had anyone coming out to say something from the
about
government?
the situation?
Even the fisheries department, I assume there's a fisheries department. How come they're not saying anything?
Maybe they're still looking for answers.
Or they're shocked. They're shocked the way we are shocked.
They're shocked. There are no answers. We're also asking questions like, what happened?
So, like right now, unaweza kuwa na craving ya kula fish?
I don't know, because maybe I eat the ones from China. Because like we just said, it's so unusual for such a thing to happen. I don't know if it's been happening before.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, me too. I've never heard of it this time round. And right now, everything is just being blamed on climate change. Everything that is, and yes, climate change is a factor, but there are some situations, Jackie, we don't, you don't have answers.
We'll try and get Frida tomorrow.
Yeah, to tell us
and to
her opinion.
Exactly what's on the ground, how are things like, are the fish still dying, or have they come up with a mechanism of sorting all this issue out and working around it. So, but today we want to talk about empowering Africa's women farmers, and there's so many women who we know are making it huge. Like lady, I don't know. Akodena kwa didi controversial, like this can't mention jina yake kwa show.
Where?
But she's a very big farmer. She does dairy cattle and she has like vegetables as well.
Yeah, and who would have thought? Like, if you meet her randomly, if there's an event and you meet her and she tells you she's a farmer, it will take you a minute to take it in. Like, I'll even ask her what kind of a farmer, you know, because does she have the patience?
You should see her on her Facebook when she's on the ground with gumboots. She's a very and she's very dedicated to her farming, because even the ugali she cooks in her home unga ya kisiagi from her farm.
And now, Jackie, this just goes back to, imagine being brought up in in urban setup. Do you even have that thing in you that one day you will become a farmer?
On my part, no, it's never crossed my mind.
It's never crossed your mind, yeah, because you are living in this urban setup where the only push is go to school, get your degree, get a white collar job.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many of young people who are now becoming farmers are people who are brought up in rural setup. Probably they saw their parents doing it, they saw everyone around them doing it.
Yeah.
It was believed maybe that was the only source of income for them. So for me, it's usually surprising when I see the people who are brought up in urban setup, getting into farming, getting their hands dirty. It's usually like, how? How did you even have the motivation to get into it? Because it's something probably you grew up not seeing around you. Yeah. It was so rare.
And then even when you talk about women and farming, mostly what comes to mind is this kind of crop farming. Maybe they've done their kitchen garden.
Yeah.
How many women do you know out there who have ventured into this big agriculture where probably they have a ranch or even beekeeping?
I'll start thinking. I don't have anybody in mind, and that just tells you how there are very few. Either there are so few, or their stories are not told enough. We don't see more of them. And like for men, where you go, like when you go somewhere, you see a large scale farmer. It's a man. It's on a rare case you see a woman. I'm yet to see.
Is it because men wako na roho mbili? When they fall, they still come back up and they continue. Because I can imagine if you have a ranch of, let's say, 1,000 cattle, like right now the Maasai's, and all of them, when you wake up every morning, you find 20 down, 20 down. Would a woman have that courage to continue?
Actually, Jackie, women have the patience. They have the patience to understand why is this happening. Men are rational. My understanding, men are so rational. Once they see the cows are they're dying, probably the madawa zilikuwa zinatumia the previous month. So men are so rational even in decision making. Women will be patient. They will look at the situation critically, and they will even observe. We don't rush in decision making. So I believe when we are faced with such huge problems, there's a way we handle it. So I don't know, but it even goes back to a time where women were not acquiring land, for starters. So women have just started acquiring land later on, when they're acquiring land because they're buying it with their own money. Where I am now empowered financially, I have the right to go buy land, you know. And when we buy land as women, we always think of building.
Yes.
You don't think about farming. Because even just to get how many women are conned when they're buying land?
You're asking.
How many women? Imagine you're buying land with the intention of getting into farming, because you can't farm without land.
Yeah.
You can start with a kitchen garden, but that is just maybe for family purposes. But now if you talk of women getting into large scale farming, they need huge pieces of land for starters.
Very interesting. There's one lady called Pauline Kamwara. She's the CEO and founder of Apiculture Ventures. It's one of the beekeeping companies, a very big company that deals with training women on beekeeping, and they actually train them on modern beekeeping. As you can see, the video there, that's the beehive I was sharing with you the other time.
Today you'll try to move close
in your office.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's take a look and you'll see.
So this is a beehive and it's called an observation hive. An observation hive is just like a standard beehive, rather just small in size, and its panels are made of glass. These are bees, live bees. So this acts as a brood box, and it is a 5-framed brood box. This is when I was explaining about the brood hive, the brood box. This is a brood box. This is where the queen lives. This is where the worker bees are found, and also the drone. So the queen will lay the eggs here, and in between the two, there is this separation here called the queen excluder, as I had shown you earlier in the previous show. This queen excluder prevents the queen bee, from coming up to the super box. So as you can see inside, the bees are working like any other normal beehive. The bees, there's an outlet pipe that allows the bees to go out to forage and then come back to the hive. And then the top part here, as you can see, this is the super box, and this is where the bees will store the honey. Like you've seen the frame that is being extracted. So this is where they'll fill the honey without any eggs being laid in the super, because the queen has been excluded from coming from the top. So I know many of you will wonder why the 2 boxes at the top. The colony is too strong. Even in your standard hive, when the colony is too strong, you can't place 2 super boxes. So when time for harvesting comes, we are able to harvest 2 super boxes. So this box here, the top one and the lower one, are both super boxes. And if you notice inside, the bees are already building the comb. This hive has been here for the last 4 months. And if you look at it, the bees are already building the comb. On the other side, they've already started filling the honey. So from both the super boxes, you can see the bees are working. These things are busy. They're the busy bees, as people always refer to them. So hey, when you talk about bee houses, a concept like this can work. This hive is housed. Come to think about it, this can be a very good concept for 4K clubs. Now that they've been a revival. That is something very good for our schools. The students can be able to learn about a beehive without necessarily opening a beehive, and just checking the activities that take place inside the hive. And of course, with the agricultural activities going around the school, they'll also benefit from pollinating the crops that the 4K club members will be engaging in. So feel free to also visit us and just get to learn more about the observation hive. Thank you.
Wow, yeah. What do you think of that technology?
It's interesting, Jackie. You mentioned to me sometimes back, but I was just like, how? When you talked of stingless bees, that we can be in the same room with bees.
Yeah.
For me, it was just
See, yeah, she said that hive had been in her office for 4 months.
Imagine that.
And she's just living peacefully with the hives. As you know, when sometimes you come to the office and probably you feel like your mind is so drained. You can imagine if there's such kind of a structure. You just go there and see how they're going about their business, going out looking for food, coming. Like, wouldn't it be interesting?
And they're stingless, kabisa. They're not triggered.
You see, she's putting her hand on the hive.
You know, sometimes I shake a lot. So would I not trigger them? Like I'm putting my hand and then I just touch the wrong. Maybe I touch the queen bee.
No, you're not allowed to get to the queen bee. The bees can't allow you. Whether stingless or the stingy ones. But now this is the kind of empowerment I'm talking about, whereby you're coming up with new innovations that you can imagine. If you have such hives, even if they're 10, when you harvest your honey, at least you have something for your home to consume in your house. And how many things or products do you get from the bees?
Yeah, and even creating employment opportunities for other women. Because one thing that I'm impressed with, she's working with women. That is a plus. Because with the kind of knowledge that she has, imagine passing it on to other women. That is what we call empowering. Because so many women are sidelined.
Yes.
You know, like even if men meet her, they'll be intimidated kidogo. I mean, this is a woman dealing with nyuki. So she's doing an amazing job, and kudos to her for empowering more women. that is a way of creating employment. Women are earning something at the end of the day. And they're also getting knowledge. So from there, you can even go start your own. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other things, I remember when you started, I asked you, how can women be empowered to venture into agriculture? And I'm seeing, some are saying, involving women in the sale of produce at the market, setting up women's saving and loans group, running training sessions, such as the way Pauline is doing at times when women can attend them, and providing crochet facilities is like a daycare whereby you're shown practically how it is done. Instead of telling people you can do modern beekeeping, but you're not showing them what is this modern thing, and supporting women with agricultural projects that they can run from their homes, such as the beekeeping, beading, beadwork, basket weaving, you know, something that they can still run, whether they have this other, they can go farm in the morning, come back in the evening, at least they can still continue doing something that earns them an income.
And it's also, I believe it's also a way of women bonding. You know, sometimes when women come together in a group, it's a way of sharing, a way of just having a conversation. So it's a good way of bringing women together, and women learn from each other so quickly. So kudos to those who have got places where women can learn practically. Yeah, it does so much good.
Yeah, and there are also innovative ways of how women can be empowered into agriculture. One of them is by empowering women through social media, because right now I bet most of the women have a smartphone.
Yes.
But most of the time you find that probably they have joined Facebook, but if you don't create that awareness that, by the way, there are farmer groups that are very active on Facebook, like Farmers Media, and there's a lot of information that you can actually get from such platforms. There are also companies that advertise on social media. Probably someone is trying to come up with a beekeeping venture, and they don't know there's this kind of hive. Like for me, it's only that I'm scared of bees. I'm allergic to insects, all insects. But if I was given an option, believe me, I would have gone for the beehive.
Yeah, and like you say, the impact of social media for the women who cannot be able to attend such events or get to such places due to maybe lack of transport and everything, they can be getting this knowledge from social media. Yeah, so it's a good way of empowering women, actually.
And also there's another innovative way of empowering women through technology and energy. Remember the conversation we had with Dominic on biogas? Did you ever think that you can actually have gas from food waste?
Not really. Maybe cow dung. Cow dung I would have believed. But food waste, not really. Yeah, so Dominic really opened our eyes to so much. And, it's from his explanation, it's something that even someone can do at home.
Yeah.
If you just get the knowledge right, and he was open to people visiting his farm and just learning. So you can imagine if we had women groups, a few women, you plan for such a trip, you go get some knowledge, and then you come back and you try to recreate something like that, you know.
Yeah. It's very interesting, because you can imagine the amount of time women in the rural areas spend probably going to fetch for firewood, then come back, go back to the river, fetch some water. When if you have this biogas, and probably you can do a borehole, this biogas can actually help you get water, pump water from the borehole. This biogas can still fire your kitchen, and there's a lot that you can do. Imagine how much time you'll have saved from such a technology.
Yeah, even for pollution of you can imagine if you're using firewoods, the way the air is polluted, you have a young baby on the side. So it's just it has made the rural woman's work easier. Yeah.
So those are the various ways we are talking about how women can be empowered to venture into agriculture, and through empowerment, the farming venture they get into also will become fun, because sometimes you can imagine that someone decides to marry me and they take me to the village where I have to dig with a djembe.
Really? Kuna talking stage. You can discuss that. What is our future looking like? Is it looking like somewhere in the village? Hell to the no. You know. But I think even for rural women, that was a way of earning some income, because you realize when a woman is empowered financially, it even gives them some sort of confidence. It helps them avoid situations like abusive marriage, like forced marriages, like early marriages. So you can imagine when a woman gets into farming as young as 16 or even 17, you're going to school and you're coming back to do your kitchen garden or just anything at your farmland. You realize, Jackie, it will earn you so much if you do it right. You know, even if you do spinach and when you're coming back to school, you water it, when they're ready, you pluck, you start selling from homestead to homestead. So you're earning something. So it will reduce so much of hizo cases, abuse in marriage, early marriages.
Yeah, very interesting. We'll be taking a short breather, but before we do that, there's this Farm With Us campaign that we are running, and I believe you've already started going through the selection process.
We are.
With the campaign.
We are still pushing the campaign. We are still selecting. People are really interested, which is a plus. So for those who are not calling, for those who are not inquiring, trust me, you will miss out on this opportunity. So call that number on your screen, interact with us, ask the questions that you have, but we are in the selecting process. So we are still selecting. Where are the young people?
We're still looking for 12.
Funny enough, young people are not participating.
Not really.
Yeah, young people, where are you? Where is your... This is your chance to venture into agriculture.
Imagine someone giving you half an acre for free.
Half an acre,
seeds,
free land,
fertilizer,
free
water.
Seeds. Yeah, it's an opportunity you don't want to pass you by. Like, take advantage of this opportunity, young people.
Probably our timings are usually wrong.
Not really, because you realize anyone who has farmed before, Jackie, they're usually so daring, and when they come by such opportunities, they don't let them slide. Like, for someone who has farmed before, they're like, I can farm anywhere. Hata kwa mawe nitalima. But for young people, they're usually skeptical. There's a way they have viewed agriculture for so long. There's a way they have viewed it as a chore, as hard work, as time consuming, you know, agriculture is all that. It requires hard work, it requires your time. But this is an opportunity. This is who gives you free land, free farm inputs, free source of water.
This time and age, no one.
Yeah, na hii economy.
So we'll be taking a short break, but do keep watching, continue staying with us. Also keep the conversation flowing on our social media platforms here at Afarmers Media on Facebook, Afarmers with a Z _ on Twitter and Instagram, and we're also live on YouTube. So keep the conversation coming along. Tell us your thoughts. How is your week coming along? And we'll be back shortly after this. Muda kuongea na sisi, tuambie majina yako, ni nani, hii sehemu inaitwaje, na hii kulima mnafanya ni gani?
Haya, nimeshukuru. Hata na mimi naitwa Emily Kereto. Mimi ni mama, niko na familia. Hata na mimi nimefurahia kuwaona. Ni vizuri ukipata wageni ukiwa kwa kazi. Tumefurahi. Hapa kwetu kwa eneo hili inaitwa Engi. Nongo jo kama ya mashini. Sasa hapa tuko na kilimo ya nyanya. Hii kazi imetupendeza sisi sana. Kwa sababu ni kazi tunafanya kila siku, tunapata mapato yetu ya kulisha watoto ama kuwalipia karo. Kwa hivyo ni kazi tumeifurahia sana.
So mnafanya ni kazi ya kibarua ama ni wamama mmeungana kwa kikundi mkaamua kufanya ukulima wa nyanya?
Tunafanya kama kibarua, but tunafanya tukiwa group. Tunaweza shikana kwa sababu gari inakujanga na makreti mingi, tunashikana kama watu 10, watu 6. Sasa tunafanya kama group, but ni kibarua.
So hii kibarua mnaona imewanufaisha aje kama wamama wa Masai, vile umesema ni kwa kijiji ndani? Sasa hii kibarua imewanufaisha aje kama wamama wa hapa hii eneo?
Hii kibarua imetufanyia vizuri kwa sababu ni kibarua tunafanya tukiwa kwa maboma ama tukiwa nyumbani. Kwa hivyo ni kibarua imetuinua tuseme kifamilia, mambo na machakula, mambo na karo ya shule. Kwa hivyo ni kibarua imetufanyia mambo mengi sana. Na bado ni mzuri kwa sababu tunafanya tukirudi nyumbani. Kwa hivyo unaamkia asubuhi unakuja ukifanya unarudi.
Tukiingilia maneno ya ukulima, unaweza sema kwa hii kazi ambayo unafanya kuna elimu ambayo umepata jinsi ya kukuza na kupanda nyanya?
Hata mimi ndaweza sema hivyo. By the way, watu saia wakulima wakienda, hata sisi tuko na kitu tumepata. Kwa sababu saizi venye tumeanza kufanya hii kazi, tumejua nyanya inaweza chukua baada ya miezi 3 tunaanza kufuna. Na ni kazi tumeielewa, tuseme tu tumeielewa juu ni kazi inaanziwa hapa kwetu na inamaliziwa hapa kwetu.
Kama sasa hii tunaona mnavuna nyanya, tueleze kidogo vile mmechunga hii nyanya hadi sasa hii mnavuna. Process yake mlipanda lini? Utajuaje nyanya iko tayari kuvuna?
Mimi siwezi jua sana mambo vile ilianza, but ninajua tu ya kwamba inachukua almost 3 months, after 3 months tunaanza kufuna. Lakini bado ninajua ni kazi inaanzanga kwa nasari, inaingia inachukua muda, tena inaanza kupaliliwa, inaingia mahali nyingine inaanza kuzaa nyanya. Sasa ndio tupate mahali imefika tuanze kuchuma.
Kama sasa hii tukiangalia kwa hii shamba kuna nyanya zingine ni ndogo, zingine ziko red, zingine ziko karibu kuiva. Tuonyeshe ni gani zenye mnachuna zenye ni za soko.
Saa hii za soko ni hizi. Mimi najua ni kama hizi. Sasa hizi ndizo za soko saa hii.
Kuna zingine zenye pia ziko karibu kuiva. Ni nini mnaangalia wakati mnavuna? Kuna zingine tunaona ziko
tunazo hizi tunasema ziko red na bado tuko na blue band. Sijui kama nitaweza toa.
Tuonyeshe tu.
Kuna blue band kama size hivi. Sasa unaona kuna tofauti. Hii ni blue band na hii ni red.
Na mnafanyanga sorting mkikuwa hapa kwa shamba? Kuna zile zimekuliwa na wadudu, kuna zingine mnajua je ni gani ni mzuri ya soko?
Saa hizi tunajua kama tuseme hizi mbili ni za soko. Hii saa hii kama hii haiwezi fika kwa soko, ni kama hii. Juu hizi already na saa hii haiwezi fika sokoni.
Kwa nini?
Kwa sababu hii nikijaribu kuangalia ingawaje hata mimi sio mtaalamu wa hii kazi sana, ni kama imechomeka kwa jua kabla haijakomaa.
So ni ujumbe gani ungeambia wanawake wengine ambao pengine wamekaa nyumbani wanaongoja mzee alete pesa ya maziwa? Ujumbe gani ungeambia wanawake wengine wamekaa nyumbani?
Mimi ningependa tu kuambia hata wao at least watoke tu wajifanyie tu vibarua. Juu hata sisi hii sasa tumekuja kupata, tulianza na mambo ya maziwa. Tulikuwa tunauza maziwa, Mungu tena akaja akatubariki tukapata hii ya nyanya. Kwa hivyo mimi ningependa tu kuwaeleza kwamba usikubali kukaa nyumbani. Hata kama ni kale kasukuma yako unapeleka sokoni unaenda kulima, usikubali kukaa nyumbani. Kwa sababu sasa sio wakati wa kuletewa chumvi na mzee kununuliwa mafuta ya kujipaka, ni wewe mwenyewe kujifanyia.
Kwa hii kibarua mnapata kama hela ngapi na ni nini inakupatia hiyo motisha ya kuja kazi kila siku? Yani unangangana kufanya
ile kitu inanipatia motisha ya kuja kwa kazi ni bidii yangu. Kwa sababu kupata hela inategemea na bidii yako. Sababu kuna wale wako active na kuna wengine wanaenda polepole. Sasa ni venye unatoa. Sasa active yako ndio itakupatia mshahara yako.
Nashukuru sana kwa muda wako.
Hata nami nimeshukuru. Karibuni tena.
Okay, I start now.
Yep.
Okay, sawa. Haya, nachuma sasa vile tunachumaga nyanya ili ya kuenda sokoni, na sasa tufanye grading. Sasa ile ni mnaona nyanya zikiwa hivi. Sasa hizi ndio tunazitaka bluebird. Au hizi zaweza chukua kama siku 2-3 ndio siive. Haya, hizi rede sasa ndio tunapelekaga Nairobi. Hii ziko rede ya kukuliwa na kuenda kuuza sokoni. Haya, hii ni grade 1. Haya, hizi tukiwa hivi ni zile ziko sunburn, imechomeka na jua. Hizi tuendepelekagi sokoni tu, wakati ya kufanyaga sorting out tutaiwachaga kwa shamba pale tunafanyia grading. Sasa hizi dogo sasa ndio sisi tunakulaga tukiwa farmer, tukulagi ile grade 1 na zingine ndio inatusaidiaga na kuuza.
So ni mtu atajuaje? Kwa sababu watu wengi wanaendanga tu kwa soko, wananunua nyanya, wanachagua tu ile yenye iko red. Nini unaweza advise any consumer wanafaa kuangalia wakati wananunua nyanya?
Okay, sasa ile kitu mnafaa kuangalia wakati yote ya mtu kununua. Sasa hizi tudogo hivi ndio ile sasa grade ya mwisho. Hata ikikuja pale utauziwa pesa kidogo. Hizi naonesha hapa kubwa ndio sasa grade 1 na ndio sasa tunauzaga pesa mingi. Na sasa hizi hata ikikuja hapa sokoni ni zile tunauzaga pesa kidogo juu ni ile tuwe baba. Hata sisi tunakulaga hizi nyembamba, hizi kubwa ndio tunaenda kuuza sokoni.
Na nini mkonsumer anafaa kufanya ndio nyanya zake zikae? Unajua kuna wengine wananuanga nyanya mara moja kwa wiki wanaeka.
Okay, sawa, okay, sawa, thank you. Sasa wakati yote ile mtu anataka kununua nyanya za kuweka, hizi kwa Bluebird inachukuaga kama siku 6 au mpaka siku 10. Hii utaweka. Na wale watu wako na uwezo hii yenye kuiva hivi zinyekundu waweza kuweka kwenye refrigerator, inachukuaga siku mingi ya kukaa.
So ni magonjwa gani ambayo umeongelelea Tisha Absoluta na Sunburn? Onyesha tu kidogo ndio consumer akienda kununua nyanya. Sasa zingine unaendanga tu kwa soko unachukua na uji kuna nyingine imechomeka na iko na madhara gani? Onyesha tu kidogo kama utaona.
Ni sawa, ziko hapa. Haya.
Na madhara yake mtu akikula ni nini?
Ni sawa. Sasa ile ziko hivi kama vile unaona hii majani iko hivi imekauka hivi, ni ile sasa majani yake za zingine imeharibika stomata. Saa hizi ikiwa vile iko dormant hivi hakuna vile inawezaga kumaintain mbegu yake, na ndio naona kama mbegu kama hizi imechomeka tayari. Hii hata ukinunua haitakusaidia sana juu vile unaona hivi zinakaa hivi, hizi iko retorted, havira haiwezi kuwa kubwa. Development yake isa haribika. Sasa hii ni grade ile ya chini, hata saa zingine tunachagua ya kutupa. Sasa wakati ukiwa sokoni ukiona nyanya kama hii waweza kuona si ya kununua juu tayari imechomeka, haitakusaidia. Padi moja haiwezi kuiva vizuri juu isa haribika, inakaka na ikiwa blemished, iko na marangi mingi. Wakati ukiona hii tunawachanga kwa soko, lakini ukiona hii iko completely red, hii iko matured, hata ukinunua itakusaidia na kupika. Na pia iko hivi grade 1, hii ukinunua wakati ya kupeleka nyumbani, hii ni mzuri hata ya kutransport pahali kubwa, pengine wamekuja Mudhurwa, umetoka Donholm au umetoka Westland. Hii ni mzuri sana ya safari, itaenda na uweke na itakusaidia kwa siku mingi. Hii ni mzuri sana itakaa siku mingi. Pia hata hii nyekundu pia bado ukiwa na uwezo ya refrigerator utaiweka na bado itakaa kwa siku mingi juu nyanya yake nyanya ni mzuri na iko mzuri, itakaa siku mingi.
Kati ya nyanya za greenhouse na hizi za open field gani ni mzuri? Kwa sababu watu wengi wanasema nyanya za greenhouse zingine zimekauka.
Sasa sasa kama vile iko hii ya shamba kama iko open, zinakuaga nyanya mzuri juu imepata jua mzuri, iko kwa climate mzuri, hata pahali utaweka zitakaa siku mingi. Lakini ile ziko pale kwa greenhouse za zingine zinakuaga na challenges juu imepata baridi sana, hata ukitoa hapo upeleka pahali pengine
next year, all the things I depended upon today that came from outside, I can find inside. What can I do? Let's begin to make that journey to becoming resilient, and I'm not saying self-sufficient, because we are one world system. We can never be self-sufficient. Climate change has taught us that we're all going to live together or die together on one overheated planet or not. We need to do this together. So I'm not talking about self-sufficiency. I'm talking about resilience. I'm saying, basically, can we feed ourselves? You need to be able to do that as a family, as an individual, as a family, as a country, as a region. Can we feed ourselves? Can we take care of our healthcare? Do we have basic infrastructure? Okay, that's done. How now can we rely on others to help us with other things? But let's build a backbone of resilience. We can do that. And what can science contribute? And I'm just saying contribute. Science is not the answer to everything. It can contribute. Let's look for it and we'll find it.
Thank you so much, Sheila, for making time. We really appreciate it. We've learned a lot. Actually, you've ended this interview very well.
One question that I know everybody is asking themselves.
Okay.
Have you ever tested GMO yourself?
Of course. First of all, I live and grew up in the UK, so the majority of products that we eat have genetically modified ingredients. So we're not even thinking about it. So unless you are positively choosing organic, so the default is GMOs. If you don't want that, you now have to look for exclusively organic foods, which are actually a niche product. You're not going to be able to have 3 meals a day
organic.
just on organic. That's not going to happen. And can you even afford it?
No.
Then that's not going to happen now, and it won't happen in the future either. So I have eaten it many times, and I do every day. I have no
And you
issues
didn't
with it. But at the same time, I bet you all of you have also eaten it.
Without knowing.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it's not known, because I think the default is that if it's not labeled, because if it's not labeled that it's non-GMO, then you are eating GMO foods, and so it's not contributing to your ill health. It really isn't.
Okay, thank you so much. We really appreciate. I just want you to do for me a drop. Just look at the camera,
Okay.
say your name. My name is Sheila Nanana, the director of, and you're watching A Farmer's Media.
Okay. Hello, my name is Sheila Uchuboju. I'm the executive director of Alliance for Science, and you're watching A Farmer's Media.
I was up with behind.
Hey.
I'll do that again. And then say something nice in Nigerian
Hey.
as you end.
Okay. Hello, my name is Sheila Uchuboju. I'm the Executive Director of the Alliance for Science, and you're watching A Farmer's Media. Sama Gano. That's, in my language, means thank you very much.
And welcome back to the evening Farm Drive Farm Girls show.
We are here.
We are still
Guys, we
here.
are here.
Hey, Fiona.
Yes.
Wanawake wanafanya vitu mingi huku nje. Have you seen those
Women are
tomatoes?
Women are doing so much.
Tunabua the red ones are mediocre.
Are we seen? We are doing so much, but are we seen? Are we appreciated? Are our stories told more?
By who? But then let me tell you, I've traveled to many people's farms, and most of the time when you get to a woman's farm, they usually shy away from the camera.
Because they have been told so. They have been conditioned.
By who?
Jackie, let me tell you something. Most of these farms you've visited, probably majority of the women are rural women. Like, if this woman steps in front of that camera, you've broken a few rules here and there.
I know.
Like, these women are taught to be submissive. Like, the husband needs to give a go-ahead so that you can go in front of that camera. So if the shying off, it's not like they're shying off. It's they fear the consequences after.
There are rules. And
Yeah.
probably it's also because they don't own the land. Like, The man is the head of the home.
Of the
So,
home and the head of the land and the head of everything.
But would you find homesteads where you'd say the husband supports the wife in the farming venture that they practice?
If they're both exposed to some extent, because the rural man is taught to be not to even listen. The wife can come and say, I'm thinking this time round we plant. Like, the man has to decide, even if the women, because the women, you realize, the people who spend most of their time in these farms, they are women. Women spend a lot of time, they have studied the soil, they have studied the art of planting seedlings or seeds. So they're the ones who know what worked and what did not. But they will never be given an opportunity to decide and say, this season we are planting this and this. As much as they know so much. So you realize women have no say when it comes to matters agriculture, especially rural women. They're not given that voice. Yet I'm thinking, if they were given that voice to decide what should be planted season after season, we would be doing so well in agriculture. And I'm not saying that the men are not doing their job. They are. But now women are not being given the opportunity to pursue anything agriculture. They're just left to be laborers in the farms, you know.
Yeah.
Yet you realize, even when you go to farms where people are planting onions, women are the ones who are counting the seedlings.
Yeah.
Women are the ones who are planting the seedlings. And it just leaves you wondering, if these people have been doing this for so long, they have the know-how. They know better.
But then where is that disconnect? Where is it? Where do we women fail? And what aspect of empowerment can be given to all of us women? Because you can even imagine, even when these women take their produce to the markets, they would fetch a lower price as compared to when a man takes the produce, the same produce to the market. So what needs? How can we have these women given a voice, and whereby they are able to come out and say, hey, by the way, this is my farm, this is how I want it to be treated? Where do we get that empowerment from?
I think it starts with creating some sort of equality. It starts from a place where there should be equality when it comes to roles. Women shouldn't be subjected to some roles, and women shouldn't even be subjected to being laborers. Let them do it voluntarily.
Yeah.
So there should be some sort of equality when it comes to giving roles, and even when it comes to giving funds. Women should also be funded. Akijaki, there is some confidence that comes when you have money.
Very true, very true.
When you have money, Jackie, you have a voice.
Unasikianga hiyo ni pesa inaongea.
Yes.
Okay.
We are live. Yeah. Have the people seen? Have the people seen what? I'm even confused. I'm even confused. What's happening? What is our boss doing up and down, taking things and...
Yes.
So I believe women should be funded, because once women are funded, even when it comes to matters taking produce to the market, they'll be in a position to hire trucks.
Yeah.
Imagine a truck getting into the market and the driver is getting in. They will be given space. It will only be realized maybe later this produce belongs to a woman. So when women are funded well, they will have the confidence to take matters into their own hands, because we realize majority of women farmers are still relying on their partners. Yeah. They're still relying on their partners when it comes to decision making. Even it goes to the extent of wenda umelima, wenda umeput in so much work kwa shamba, but ile time ya kuharvest, the man is busy taking the produce to the market.
You can imagine.
And you don't even get a cent. You know, that is how women are. Wamekanyagiwa. Like, their produce is taken to the market and then they don't get returns. Or they're given handouts. You know, yet they're the people who put the most input.
It's really unfair, by the way.
Yeah, it's
When you've told, like, back in my village, people are usually awake by 4 in the morning. You find
so early.
the woman and her children very early in the morning.
Yeah, wameenda tu kung'ang'ana kwa shamba, imagine. And they will bend. You hear there's this saying that goes, ati mwanamke atainama from sunrise to sunset. Imagine. And probably umeinama with a kid on your back.
Yeah.
You know. And then, Jackie, you've put your all in there. You've put your effort, your input. You know how. And women keep checking. After they have planted, they will give it time. They will keep checking. They will take care of the watering and everything. You know. So by the time a woman is getting ready to harvest, that is where the men come in.
Imagine.
You know.
Mimi nataka kutuambia.
Jackie, at that time you have no voice.
No. What do you mean I have no voice?
You have no
when
voice.
I'm seeing money here on
Imagine
just in front of my nose.
It's because, Jackie, we've gotten some sort of exposure.
Yeah.
But imagine you've been conditioned. You've been conditioned that you can't speak.
Yes.
You hear even, there's some situations that you go, and when they're even negotiating when it comes to prices, a woman will not even have a say. Yet you know the kind of input you put in there. But you will not have a say. Your husband might even decide to sell your produce at a throwaway price.
Wow.
It happens. It happens to so many rural women, and for them it's okay, you know. Like the man amenirahisishia kazi, amenipelekea kwa soko. And you know, that's why, Jackie, there was a story where some women would hide some produce so that they can sell them when the man is away. So as you're harvesting, there's like a portion, you put it on the side, you claim in your familia, you know, to make her for family purposes. Yes. But then in the process, you start selling now to your neighbors, to people. Now you sell in secret. So you sell to other women, you take to the market when the man is not around, so that you can just have that pocket change. No. They should try us. Like you'll come back, niliuza produce yote. You'll come back, niliuza produce yote. Because, I can imagine. And we are lucky now, we are getting into an era where women can acquire land. You know, even through inheritance. Like if your father feels like leaving for you land, it's okay. You can acquire your own land. Women are confident enough to go to Agrovet and ask about the best seeds. You know, women have formed circles and groups where they can they can enlighten each other.
The table banking, the ways of making money, gathering money. The chamas that they usually go,
the chamas.
Get trainings on various ventures.
Unasengenia Jackie, unaambia Jackie, ataki uze produce, my friend. I'll show you. It's happening. It's happening, and it's a good time. Yeah.
And it's about time that women, apart from just being getting the training and being shown the knowledge of how to do things, they need to be empowered to have that voice.
Yes.
Like, if I've said this is what I want, we'll take the maize, the ninis to the market. We will take with this price. Yeah.
And even the courage to talk to brokers, the courage to talk to transporters. There shouldn't be women kufinyiliwa in terms of even setting prices. Just because you're a woman, you don't have room for negotiating. You know the way men will negotiate, and if it's not working out for them, they'll be like, it's okay, I'll source for another means of transport. But women are left we are conditioned that there's no other option. Like if you don't take me,
So I hope we've learned, we've talked a lot in today's show, and we've shared quite some few things, and just a fun fact first of all before I give you a secret on how to consume spinach. How do you prepare your spinach?
Just the normal way, kitungu. I prepare it with only onions, and I put in some cream. Yeah, just give or two. Just a simple way.
Yeah, so there are various ways of consuming spinach. There's those who usually use it in smoothies. I tried it once, but It wasn't my thing.
Hapo ndo unasema God give me the strength to accept the things I
But
cannot
I
change.
realized once you consume the spinach in a smoothie, but then your skin becomes so smooth. If you mix spinach, carrot, lemon,
Oh,
your
but now,
skin becomes
how
so
will
smooth,
it
my
pass
friend.
down my throat?
The lemon. Let's take a look at how the spinach crop can be consumed, how people can cook it, and then we'll come back with the fun facts for the day.
Spinach, a dark leafy vegetable that originated in Persia. Spinach is a superfood as it is loaded with tons of nutrients in a low-calorie package. Spinach has been used by various cultures throughout the history. Spinach is a versatile vegetable and can be eaten raw or cooked. It can be incorporated quite easily in any diet as it is cheap and easy to prepare.
Hello, my name is Sheila Uchiboju. I'm the Executive Director of the Alliance for Science, and you're watching A Farmers Media. Sama Ganom.
I should ask our director, Divine, what Dr. Sheila...
You should ask him what?
What Dr. Sheila says at the end of that video.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he speaks pidgin.
Or Divine should be in a better position.
Divine, kindly tell us, what does it mean? He's just laughing.
He's just laughing.
Tomorrow morning, I'll make sure you come on this other side.
People want to
to
see you.
you.
People want to see
People
who's working.
There's no way you can just be our super producer and you keep hiding. You can't make us look beautiful when you're just hiding
You're just
on the
hiding.
other side.
People are curious.
Yeah, so it's been a great day, a great show, and we've shared a lot, and I hope that women out there, we get more women to join, first of all, farming.
Yes.
And apart from being farmers, they are empowered farmers. Empowerment, it comes with everything. It's like a whole package.
And for those women who have gotten there, who have been empowered, who have gotten the exposure, pull each other up. You know, don't build a bigger fence.
Yeah.
Talk to other women, organize these events, organize women-specific events so that they can come and learn a thing or two. That is the only way we can get so many women in agriculture, so that we kill the stigma of women cannot, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Let me share with you one of the farm facts that I came across today. What is a female farmer called?
Jackie, you're putting me on the spotlight. You're putting me on the spotlight. Am I supposed to know?
Just guess.
Oh God, I can't guess to save my life.
Okay, a single man is called a bachelor. A single lady is called
A bachelorette.
So a male farmer is called a farmer. A female farmer.
Okay, there's a word reading in my head, but I don't want to say.
Let's try.
Oh God, no. I don't want to embarrass myself.
I know you know, but you're just scared to say.
I don't want to embarrass myself.
Farmerette.
That is the word in my head.
I knew. It's a farmerette. Go check.
That is a nice one.
Yes. Yes,
is
a
a
female
nice
farmer is
one.
called a farmerette. Then that brings us to the end of today's edition of the evening farm drive, the farm girls edition. Hope to see you tomorrow with some new topics as we diagnose and look at some of the pests and diseases. Last week we attended the markup campaign on fruits, herbs, and was it? It was
fruits, fruits and vegetables conference.
Yes.
Yeah,
and we had a lot, very interesting sessions with very interesting people. We'll be sharing some of these videos and posts and the interviews we had talking about safe use of pesticides. So keep watching our Farmers Media. We'll be going home for now, but kesho pia ni siku. Bye.